Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. There was no Tuesday video this week like I usually do because I was celebrating my wedding anniversary, and I would like to thank everyone out there that left comments on Facebook and Twitter. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the positive messages. Time to get back to business here. Time to catch up. Got a lot of questions here. We have a big event coming up this weekend on the 4th of July, the WWE Live Network special from Japan. Got questions related to that and other topics. So let's get started with the first one today from Nightwisher91. Is next week's NXT event in Japan a perfect place for Finn Balor to beat Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship? Balor is insanely popular in Japan, and since Owens is on the main roster now, it makes sense for him to lose the title there. Please answer in video. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. I've gotten a lot of questions lately about Finn Balor and how far I think he's going to go in WWE. Do I think he'll be a top-tier superstar? And my answer is yes. Finn Balor is really the total package, everything that WWE is looking for in a star. He has a good look. He has a very unique look, good build. He's young. He's a great athlete. He's a tremendous in-ring talent. Everything about him, to me, is money. In my opinion, of all the guys on the WWE NXT roster, Finn Balor is the guy who I feel has the most potential to be a major superstar in WWE. Very marketable character, in my opinion. So I do feel it is time. It's time for him to be on the main roster, but right now, Kevin Owens is the NXT champion, and since he's part of the main roster already, doesn't make sense for Owens to stay champion. Finn Balor, he's ready for the big time, but I think you could hold off on him for a few more months, have Finn Balor win the NXT title in Japan. He's going to get a tremendous reaction because that's where he made his name as Prince Devitt. Makes sense for him to win the title in Japan. He's going to be over like crazy, and you can keep him on NXT for a few more months and then have the next guy win the title and then put Finn Balor on the roster. There's no rush to get him on right now, even though I feel he's ready. Better to wait for the right moment. So the timing is just right for Finn Balor to win the NXT title and Kevin Owens to be full-time on the WWE main roster. And I got this question here from Snowdog140. Hey Aaron, with the Tokyo show being broadcast on the network, would it make sense for more or all of the house shows to be broadcast, or would it take away from their atmosphere? Also, do you think the modern ECW episodes will come up on the network? Please answer in video, thanks. Well, I think eventually we will see more of the ECW shows on the network. You have to keep in mind that it is a very time-consuming process to get all that footage converted from tape to digital. It's not something that you can do overnight, and there's so much footage. There's a lot of WCW Nitros and WWE Raw shows that are not on the network yet, and I think that that's the priority right now. But eventually, I could definitely see all the ECW footage that WWE has going up on the network. It's just a matter of time. It might take a few years, but eventually it'll be up there. And as far as WWE doing more shows on the network and even house shows, I think house shows is overkill. I think that's way too much. It's not necessary to broadcast all the house shows on the network, and I don't really feel from a financial standpoint it would be worth it for WWE because they are house shows. The idea is that you do a special show that is beyond the norm, like this Tokyo show. It's something different. I could see WWE doing shows like they could do a special from London, England, or a special from Mexico City in Mexico. Those would be good ideas for special events, but doing a house show or a house show every month, that would just be too much, and there's already too much WWE programming as it is. I am not a fan of that idea. I don't think that that should be done. I think it's too much, but if you're going to do 3 or 4 specials a year from different major cities in the world, I am all for that. All right, this next one comes from Deadpool for Hire. Well, Aaron, it looks like your WrestleMania tape delay theory has been busted. With WWE airing the Tokyo special live, does this open the chances for a WrestleMania outside the US? Please answer in video. This is an experiment by WWE. This is something they've never done before. And my gut feeling is that not a lot of people are going to be tuning in at 5:30 a.m. in the morning to watch a WWE event live. And certainly people on the West Coast watching at 2:30. You talk about WrestleMania, this is something that people have been asking me about for months and months and even years now, about WWE doing a pay-per-view in the UK and having it delayed in the US or airing it live at a weird time. The problem with that is WWE wants as many people watching WrestleMania as possible. Now, sure, maybe some people will tune in at 2:30 a.m. on the West Coast or 5:30 on the East Coast to watch this Tokyo show. And it's not WrestleMania. It's a special. But with WrestleMania, WWE wants your average person, somebody who's not a wrestling fan, somebody who's not that into the product. They want those people to tune in. WrestleMania is that one show where WWE wants as many viewers as possible. And because of that, they're not going to screw around with the time and doing the tape delay or any of that stuff with spoilers. WWE's just not going to go there for WrestleMania. Now, will a B pay-per-view eventually be on the network from a different country overseas? That is a possibility. Maybe one day, if this works out with the Tokyo show, and a lot of people tune in, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think many people are going to tune in live. But let's just say it does happen. Let's just say that the bulk of WWE subscribers, they all get up at 2:30 in the morning to watch this. Then I could see WWE perhaps doing a pay-per-view like Battleground from the UK. That might be a possibility. But like I said, this is an experiment. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe 500,000 people would tune in at 2:30 and 5:30 a.m. respectively to watch this. I don't think that's going to happen, but maybe it will. Who knows? All right, this one comes from D. Robinson. Hey Aaron, with WWE being high on people like Kevin Owens, Neville, and Finn Balor, could you see Sami Zayn getting lost in the shuffle? I do not think he will be lost in the shuffle when he comes back, because he was so impressive during his run in NXT up to the injury during the match with John Cena. But if he gets hurt again, or if he comes back and he's not quite as good as he used to be, there's always that possibility he could get lost in the shuffle. There are lots of guys coming in, but with Sami Zayn, I think he's already made an impression on a lot of people, and they're going to give him another shot, I think. I would be surprised if he came back and they didn't do anything with him. Sami Zayn is a guy who can go really far in WWE, but if something happens and he gets hurt again, or the injury causes him to not be as good as he used to be, that could definitely make an impact on his career in a bad way. All right, this one comes from Joe Allen, 12290. Hey Aaron, first time asker. Do you think if Seth Rollins turns face, the Shield will reform and win all 3 major singles championships? Please answer in video. I've been asked about the Shield reforming for the past several months, and I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened at the Payback pay-per-view. That would have been a good opportunity to do it. I don't really see the need to bring back the Shield in an official capacity. All 3 guys are doing well on their own as individuals. They don't need to be a group anymore. They're all well established. And I suppose you could do something where the 3 of them reunite for a brief time. And that leads me to this next question from Jeremiah Dorset. Hey Aaron, with Seth Rollins likely turning on the Authority, which will set up a potential Triple H versus Seth Rollins feud at SummerSlam, could we see the Shield versus the Authority in a traditional Survivor Series match at Survivor Series? Please answer in video. I suppose you could do something like this where for one night only and an unofficial capacity, you have the Shield members reuniting to take on the Authority. My gut feeling, though, is if and when Seth Rollins goes babyface, it's likely that somebody will turn heel, whether it's Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose, just to balance out the heels and the faces on the roster. That's what I would see happening. I don't think we'll see those 3 guys as faces together for any length of time. And the other problem with doing this is that it's going backwards. We already saw the Authority with Triple H and Evolution against the Shield. We already saw that. It's just going backwards. These guys have all evolved and formed their own unique identities, and it's not necessary to do a Shield reunion right now. Perhaps one day after there's been a feud, they've done the triple threat match, and all that's been done, you can perhaps reunite them for a brief period of time, maybe have them as the heels trying to take down the new babyface faction. You know, the cycle repeats itself. That's something that's a possibility. All right, this one comes from Kayfabe Candy Ass. With it being reported that Dolph Ziggler has already signed a multi-year deal, do you predict any sort of thrust into the main event or more of the same old mid-card fan favorite act? Better do it soon if they're gonna. 35 years old isn't a young HBK anymore. Well, I'm hopeful that Ziggler will get a significant push. He is one of those guys that has always been more over than how he's been booked on television. The crowd's always been behind him, even when WWE has put him in the opening match. He continues to get big reactions, and he has always been a fan favorite with the internet fans. And I remember back at SummerSlam 2009, going way back then, the crowd was really into Dolph Ziggler, and this was when he was just really starting to get established on his own, beyond the Spirit Squad, doing the Ziggler gimmick for the first time, shaking everybody's hand and all that, and the crowd was already starting to love the guy. I'm really hopeful that this run with Ziggler for the next couple of years will be very successful for him. I think WWE probably made him a good financial offer to stay, and at the end of the day, it is a business. I'm just hopeful that they will invest in him and do something with him, and it's not just a situation where they throw a bunch of money at him so he won't go work for another promotion. I'm hoping that's not the case, and that they actually want to utilize him to the fullest of his abilities. All right, got this question here from That Was My Fault. Do you think Scott Steiner is one of the worst wrestlers ever? Well, that's pretty harsh. I don't know if you're just judging this based off of his 21st century matches, because back in the day, in the late 80s and early 90s, Scott Steiner was a tremendous athlete. Him and Rick were one of the best tag teams in the world as the Steiner brothers, and Steiner did a lot of really impressive things in the ring. Injuries combined with putting on the extra muscle mass and doing the big Papa Pump gimmick, that slowed him down a lot. And by the time he got to WWE, he was a shell of his former self. Yeah, Scott Steiner in the 21st century, not one of the better wrestlers in the business. But 1990, Scott Steiner was among the best. I mean, he was really a tremendous athlete. All right, one more question here from XK Wilcox. Yo, Aaron, this is what I think will happen. Big Show will pin The Miz at Battleground for the IC title and then goes off to start a feud with Cesaro. Then have Cesaro beat the Big Show clean for the IC title at Summerfest. LOL, your thoughts? Big Show as IC champion. Not a fan of that, first off. I'd rather have Cesaro beat Ryback. Why can't Ryback beat the Big Show and Miz and go on to SummerSlam and face Cesaro? I'd rather see that, but Cesaro as IC champion, I don't know if that's in WWE's plans or not. It feels like they don't know what to do with Cesaro right now. They had a plan with him and Tyson Kidd as a tag team, and now Tyson Kidd's hurt. He's going to be gone for a long time. And Cesaro's kind of stuck in limbo. And I don't know if WWE's going to give him a singles run or not, or if he's just going to be a guy on the roster and just a guy to fill up the card, help fill up the card. That's really the only thing I can see WWE doing with him, unfortunately. The fact that Big Show beat him at the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, reversing what happened the previous year where Cesaro got over by eliminating the Big Show, that just goes to show that Big Show's higher up on WWE's priority list than Cesaro. Sad, but I think it's true. Hopefully I'm wrong, though. Maybe WWE will push Cesaro and give him a run, but I'd rather see him get a run towards the top, towards the WWE title. I mean, the IC title just seems like you're keeping him at a certain level. So if they're going to push him, go all the way with him and push him towards the top. All right, so that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks, as always, for watching. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. I'll be doing more videos this weekend. Got lots of your questions here. I'll talk more about Raw from this past week and Slammiversary, as well as the 4th of July special. NoDQ.com will have you covered. We'll have the updates regarding that live event. And I will see you guys next time for more NoDQ&A video.